For most of our lives, we've been told the same story about wealth. That getting rich is about luck, timing, or being born into the right circumstances. We see the same images everywhere. Luxury cars, private jets, massive mansions, stacks of cash. And the message behind those images is clear. Wealth happens fast, and only for a lucky few. But here's the uncomfortable truth most people eventually discover. The real path to wealth looks nothing like the picture we've been sold. It's quieter, slower, more disciplined, and far more powerful than overnight success. In fact, many of the people who eventually build real financial freedom don't rely on luck at all. They follow a process built on mindset, habits, and strategic decisions that compound over time. And once you understand that process, something changes. You stop chasing the illusion of wealth and start building the foundation of real wealth. Stay with me until the end of this video, because by the time we finish, you'll see why the truth about getting rich is completely different from what most people believe, and why understanding this truth could change the direction of your financial life forever. Almost everyone wants the same thing when it comes to money. Not necessarily luxury or status, but freedom. Freedom to choose how you spend your time, freedom to support your family, freedom to make decisions without constant financial pressure. Yet many people feel like they're running hard without getting much closer to that freedom. They work more hours, they try to save what they can, they look for new opportunities, but something still feels off. It can feel like wealth is always just a little further away than expected. And that frustration leads many people to believe something is wrong with them. But the real issue often has nothing to do with intelligence, effort, or ambition. The problem is that most people are following a version of success that was never designed to build lasting wealth. Once that realization appears, the conversation around money begins to change. For decades, the story about getting rich has been carefully shaped by what people see around them. Movies show sudden fortunes. Social media highlights luxury lifestyles. News headlines celebrate overnight success. These images create a powerful impression. That wealth appears suddenly, that someone wakes up one day and everything changes. But those moments represent the exception, not the rule. Behind most financial success stories are years of quiet decisions that rarely make headlines. Careful planning, steady improvement, disciplined financial habits. Yet these parts of the story remain mostly invisible because slow progress does not attract attention. And without seeing that hidden process, many people begin chasing the wrong signals. They focus on dramatic opportunities instead of sustainable progress. They wait for a breakthrough instead of building momentum. And over time, this misunderstanding quietly delays their financial growth. But once the illusion of instant wealth disappears, a different pattern begins to emerge. Here's a surprising truth. Most wealthy people did not become rich through one dramatic moment. They built wealth through hundreds of small decisions made consistently over time. Saving when it was easier to spend. Learning when it was easier to scroll. Investing when it felt uncomfortable. Improving skills when progress seemed slow. These actions rarely look impressive in the moment. They are quiet, repetitive, often unnoticed by others. But when those small actions are repeated month after month, year after year, something powerful begins to happen. Progress compounds, momentum builds, and what once looked like slow movement gradually turns into real financial strength. This is the moment where many people start seeing wealth differently, not as a sudden breakthrough, but as a structure built piece by piece. And when you understand that structure, the process becomes much clearer. Real wealth is rarely accidental. When you study individuals who achieve lasting financial success, a simple pattern begins to appear. Their progress is built on three core pillars: mindset, consistent action, strategic decisions. Mindset shapes how you think about money. If someone believes opportunities are limited, they often hesitate, delay, or avoid financial growth. But when a person understands that value can be created, their behavior changes. Consistent action determines daily behavior. Small habits repeated regularly create momentum that eventually becomes powerful. Strategic decisions guide direction. Knowing where to place your time, energy, and resources allows progress to move faster and with less resistance. When these three elements work together, financial growth stops feeling random. It becomes structured. and structure is what allows wealth to grow steadily over time. Once the structure becomes clear, the next step is action. Not dramatic action, not risky leaps, but consistent behavior repeated over long periods of time. The individuals who build wealth rarely rely on occasional bursts of effort. They rely on habits. Saving a portion of income regularly, learning something new about money each week, reviewing financial decisions frequently instead of ignoring them. These actions may seem small. Sometimes they even feel insignificant. But when they happen repeatedly, they begin creating momentum. And momentum changes everything. Because progress that continues steadily becomes stronger with time. Instead of starting and stopping, the movement keeps building. Instead of reacting emotionally to money, decisions become intentional. Over time, these habits form a foundation that supports real financial growth. And once momentum begins to move in the right direction, the next shift becomes possible. At a certain point, something important changes. Money stops feeling like a constant struggle and starts becoming a system that can be understood. Instead of asking, "Why is this so difficult?" the question becomes, "What can I improve next?" This shift may seem small, but it changes how decisions are made. People begin looking for ways to increase value rather than only protecting what they already have. Time becomes more intentional. Learning becomes more consistent. Financial choices become less emotional and more strategic. When this perspective develops, progress no longer depends on motivation alone. It becomes part of daily thinking. And over time, that thinking begins to influence every financial decision that follows. The direction of your financial life starts to change, not because of one big moment, but because the way you approach money has evolved. Imagine what happens when this approach continues over time. Not for a few weeks, not for a few months, but for years. Small improvements in financial habits begin stacking on top of each other. Better decisions about spending create more savings. More savings create more investment opportunities. More knowledge leads to smarter financial choices. And gradually, the pressure around money begins to ease. The progress might feel quiet in the beginning, but with time, the results become visible. Income grows, opportunities increase, financial stability strengthens. What once seemed difficult begins to feel manageable. And eventually, the structure you built starts working in your favor. This is the part of wealth that most people never see, the years of discipline that quietly transform someone's financial life. Now pause for a moment and think about your own financial journey. Which of these three areas would make the biggest difference in your life right now? 1. Strengthening your money mindset. 2. Building consistent financial habits. 3. Making more strategic financial decisions. Comment the number below. Your answer might reveal the first step in your own financial awakening. Because sometimes, the biggest change in our financial future begins with recognizing the one area we are ready to improve. If this perspective helped you see money and wealth in a new way, then you are exactly who this channel is for. Financial Awaken with Aaron is about financial education, wealth-building strategies, money mindset, and the habits that help individuals and families build long-term financial freedom. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next video. Because here we focus on something much deeper than quick money: clarity, discipline, and building wealth that lasts. Your financial awakening begins with understanding the truth.